back to Heart Before Cart. This is our second edition. I'm Talia Wolf and I am a conversion optimization specialist. I have helped thousands of marketers and hundreds of brands optimize their websites, their customer journeys, their funnels, their landing pages, their emails to drive more conversions, more leads, and more sales. In this video series, I'm going to focus on giving you practical and actionable tools and tips and actual strategies that you can use to optimize your own funnels and customer journeys. Let's get started. Starting out with our first segment into the optimization verse, where I will take a few minutes to teach you one practical thing you can start using right away. Today, I'm going to be focusing on how to do Reddit mining. So mining Reddit is one of our favorite techniques at Get Uplift, which is the conversion optimization agency that I run, to help us uncover motivations, emotional triggers, why people buy, why they don't buy from our clients, what's stopping them, what hesitations they have, what concerns they have. Reddit is one of the ways that we kind of become the fly on the wall and find those authentic conversations. You can also do this on Quora, in Facebook groups, anywhere where your audience is having conversations about your product, about your industry, about the pains that they're experiencing. That's where you want to be a fly in the wall. So to get started easily, all you have to do is go into Google and type in one of the most used keywords that the search terms that people use to find you. You could use competitor versus your own brand. You could use just your own brand name. You can use a term that people usually use to land on your blog or on your homepage and put that into Google. Okay, so to get started, I went into Google and I wrote UPenn versus Cornell, just as an example. If you start scrolling and you don't immediately see Reddit conversations, one thing you can do is just add Reddit, and it will show you all of the different conversations that are happening. One thing that you'll notice is that there are a ton of conversations. For example, am I making the wrong decision on choosing Cornell? I'm just going to open that up. And you'll see there are 20 different comments in here and a long conversation going on about, hey, is this person actually making a mistake? You can also see, help me decide, Columbia versus Cornell versus UPenn, which is better? And you can see there's just a lot of conversations in here. Now, Reddit has done a really good job to position itself and brand itself as the place where authentic conversations are happening. This means that your audience is having these conversations in here. They're not going to your website to decide on whether they're going to buy your product or not. Once they have done the quick check of, okay, pricing makes sense, they have the features that I need, they do all the stuff that I'm looking for, then they'll go look for social proof and for authentic conversations and figure out if this is the right thing to do or not. After you have found these conversations, what I want you to do is simply start reading through the entire conversation and then opening a Google Doc and writing down, what are people mostly talking about? Is the sentiment negative or is it positive? Is your brand even mentioned? How are people talking about you? Then you need to write down what are the 3 questions that people have about your industry, about your product, about your solution. You can also identify their concerns. What are the top hesitations that people have that they mention in this conversation? What are the complaints that they have about your industry? What are the praises that they're giving your competitors or other solutions out there? By the way, as a reminder, your competitor could also be doing nothing or using a spreadsheet or hiring a VA. So the most important thing is to write down those top 3 questions that people have about your industry, your solution, your product, and then I want you to look at your website and ask yourself if you're answering those. If that content is on your landing pages, if it's on your homepage, if it's being answered in your emails, in your ads, in your blog posts, are you addressing these concerns, these hesitations? Are you actually helping people make a better decision? The best thing about looking at Reddit conversations is that it gives you an understanding of what's missing on your pages? How do people make a decision on whether they're going to study with you or someone else? If you're not sure how to use these insights, here are a few ways that we do so at Get Uplift. So the first thing we do is we use these insights to help get buy-in from our clients. So if we have ideas and we want to try and test out new messaging ideas, or we want to optimize a landing page in a certain way, we will present our findings to our clients and show them what people are saying, what they're concerned about, what questions need answered. And that just gets everyone on the same page. The other thing that we do is we create a list of content themes and questions that need answered on the blog. So our client can now go ahead and start creating blog posts and articles that actually answer questions that prospects have. In addition, we flag different conversations where our client should be involved, should be answering, and should be helping people inside Reddit. The other thing that we do is we take all these insights from Reddit and we add them into the additional insights that we have from our surveys, interviews, social listening, review mining, from our competitor analysis. This helps us further understand where the opportunities lie. If we're able to look at our competitors' websites, if we're able to see all the conversations that are happening, if we interviewed our clients' customers and we did surveys on their website and to their customers, we'll start to see these gaps. We'll start to see different opportunities where our client can come in and optimize copy. Start using actual words that people use on Reddit or in other conversations. We can start optimizing all of the website and the whole customer experience using these insights alongside all the rest of our research. So I highly recommend that you get started with mining Reddit or Quora conversations today. Let's move on to our second segment, infinity tests. During this segment, my goal is to share an A/B test or an experiment that we are currently running or have run in the past, and just walk you through everything. Why we ran it, what the idea was behind it, what we learned from it, whether we increase conversions or not, what you can learn from this test, and how you can apply it to your own A/B tests and experimentation program. Today, I want to share a test we ran a few years ago for a leading university in the US. The reason I want to share it with you is because it was highly driven by social listening, what we just discussed. In fact, what we did is mine through hundreds of conversations on Reddit, Quora, LinkedIn, Facebook, and even on YouTube to uncover why people were converting, why people weren't converting, and the results were pretty cool. We were hired to help them enroll students into their online program for working individuals. When we get started with any project, we always ask our client to send over any research that they have and ask them, why do you think people aren't converting, or what might be stopping people from enrolling in your program? And what they said was they had 3 reasons that they thought people weren't converting. Number 1 was price. They were far more expensive than any other university. Next, they believed that people were super worried about having an outdated curriculum online. And lastly, they were worried about the fact that they had lower rankings compared to other universities. So as I said, we combed through conversations online. And of course, we ran interviews, we did a customer survey for existing students, we also did a survey on the website at the university to uncover what was blocking people. And what we uncovered was really interesting. Yes, the quality of the program, because it was online, was in question, but not the curriculum. What people were worried about with the fact that it was online was losing focus because it was online, the lack of assistance. They were worried that they wouldn't get the same one-on-one help from their professors if it was online. And even though this was an online program, they really wanted to still feel like they could enroll and get this university experience, this on-campus university experience. So this research was the leading indicator that we needed to optimize the content on the program page. I'm going to show you the wireframe, what it looked like before, what content it had, and then walk you through the changes that we made, what we added to the page that led to a 23% increase in leads. What you can see from the control is that the original page had a structure that included tabs on the left, overview, curriculum, and other information you might care about, all the way down to apply. Then in the middle part of the page, we had name of the program and 2 paragraphs that included the description of the program, the curriculum, the dates it was happening, and information about the careers that you could get by attending this program while you work. And over here on the right, you have the form itself. So as you can see from this variation, we added a lot more information. So yes, we have the name of the program and the description of it. But right after, we added an entire section about how online learning works at this university. We added how the team works online, how the staff and university supports you from afar, how the curriculum works around your work, because these are people who are working, they have a day job. Then we showed the difference between online and in-person studying, and we also showed salary guides so they know what to expect. This entire section was powered by the research that we did. We used their language, their words to describe what they care about, and we put in information that they're looking for. And then we actually added social proof, which was super important. Social proof about learning while working, social proof about learning online, and social proof about learning online, but yet feeling part of a community online. These were really big changes that were mostly copy changes, but they had a big impact on the bottom line because when someone came to the page, they got their questions answered. So I wanted to show you this quick test today just to give you an idea of how much messaging, copy, and just combing the web can help you identify what people are missing, what information they care about, and then how you can optimize your pages so easily without having to do complete redesigns or get huge budgets, and just add in the information they care about and get an uplift. Next, we have the Wolf Rundown segment where I update you what I'm working on. So right now, I am actually focused on creating a new presentation and slide deck for Digital Olympus. It's a conference I'll be speaking at in September next month in Amsterdam. And if you have the opportunity to attend, you definitely should. There's gonna be some really cool speakers there. My entire presentation is gonna be about mapping emotions throughout your customer journey. So it's a new talk about how to identify the different points of emotions throughout your customer journey, how people feel along the way, how they want to feel, how you can help them really solve their problems, and by that, obviously, achieve more conversions. So that's the first thing I'm focused on. The other thing is I'm doing a bunch of interviews for podcasts. So I just got off a really cool interview with Social Media Examiner, and they wrote an entire blog post about our session. It was so cool, and it was really fun being back on that show again, because last time Mike interviewed me, it was 7 years ago. Before I had my book, before I had my emotion sales course, before Get Uplift was doing as well as it's doing today. So it was fun to catch up and just talk about that. That's kind of where I am this week. And I guess this brings us to our final segment, which is the utility belt. So the utility belt segment is me sharing the tools that we use at Get Uplift, what I use in my day-to-day work, who I follow, articles that I'm reading right now, shows that I'm watching, anything I think you should be using too. The first tool I want to share is Speechify. Speechify helps me read content so fast. I read a lot. I have a ton of information that I'm trying to learn every single day. And honestly, when I'm trying to do things faster, hearing while I'm reading is incredible. So Speechify basically turns any document into an audio file. I can set it to whatever speed that I want, and it will read through the document as I'm reading it. It's not a conversion optimization tool, but it does help me optimize the way I consume content. And what I have on the screen right now is Juliana's article that I also wanted to recommend. She just wrote a masterpiece about how to actually do data analysis. Now, this is a beast. It's incredible. If you are in charge of actually understanding data, not just pulling reports out of GA4 or Amplitude or whatever, and you want to understand how to turn those numbers into insights, you have to read it. highly recommend. It's on her Substack, amazing. But what I do, because it is long and I have ADHD and it's hard for me to concentrate and read a full article without either jumping from tab to tab or going hyper focused on stuff, what I do is I put it into Speechify. And then as I read the actual content, it's also reading it to me through Speechify. And finally, the last thing that I want to recommend is a webinar this week about AI mode. And I have nothing to do with the webinar. I was just scrolling through my feed and I saw that the wonderful team at iPullRank is putting together just a masterpiece of content. It's all about how people use AI mode, or do they? Question mark. And I'm gonna be there to listen. I can't wait. So you should definitely check it out. And I will drop the links in the description of this video. Okay, that's it from me this week from Heart Before Cut. If you simply cannot wait for the next edition of Heart Before Cut, follow me on LinkedIn, Instagram, or TikTok, where I post daily, or grab my book, Emotional Targeting, at Amazon, or really at taliawolf.com/book, where you can learn all of my framework and put it to work immediately. Until next week, see you then. Bye.